Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our journey in learning just a little bit more of this amazing language every day. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Okay, so now let's review yesterday. We talked about the 机关算尽. 机关算尽. It's about someone who is very calculating. Actually, it's over calculating. It took a negative connotation because it's when you do something, it's hard to make it just right to the right degree. And when you like be calculating, say this behavior, you tend to overcalculate. And overcalculate in computing terms have this overfitting thing. It's like computer. When computer overcalculate, it's overfitting. It's think too thoroughly. That is not adapting to the new situation. When new data or new scenarios comes in, it's beyond your original consideration. And then your original calculating will come out with a wrong result. So that's the 机关算尽. It came from the historical figure, not historical fictional figure, Wang Xifeng. But now, yesterday, when I was trying to understand the whole phrases, and I realized, like, in her position, running a big household, almost like a trust fund manager role, she gotta be super calculating. Okay, so today we have 尽人事听天命. It's also a great piece of advice from the language. So as the language user, you got this well formulated. In this case, it's not a 4-character formula. It's a 3 and 3. So when we have a 3 and 3, that's a common thing, Chinese phrase formation as well. So it definitely it's a 6-character. That means it's a little bit more complicated concepts that cannot be consolidated into 4 characters. So it tend to be 3 and 3. They are kind of a mirror image of a contrasting ideas. And like this 尽 and 听, they are action words. And 人 and 天, they are the objects, like who is doing. And then this is the object. Wait, no. 人 is the subject. 人 and 天 are subject. And the 事 and the 命 are the something related to 人. 人事天命, kind of 人 and okay. I probably need to rewind or retract. Okay, 人事 and 天命. So both of them are nouns, right? So this is action word. That's easy. 人事 and 天命 here, when they pair together, it's a description of, even if like 是 I translate it as do, it's actually not an action word. It's more of a noun, and the 人 or 天 are descriptors of this noun. So this is the essential, the essence, or the real subject. But the 人 and 天 are the description. Indispensable, important descriptor, because without the 人 or 天, we don't exactly know who is doing what. Okay, so in this case, it's the overall architecture of the phrase is 尽, like exhaust, right? What humanly you can do. So basically, make your best efforts. And 听天命 is listen to, or follow, or subject yourself to, or submit yourself to. 天命, 天, I translate as a heaven. Okay, so originally it referred to the sky, right? And then extended to imagine the sky, which is heaven. And then further extended into this world, the way, the universe beyond your control. So 人 and 天 are this relationship, like an individual, like you have individual consciousness or decision making. You can push your or follow your agenda to a certain degree, but so many other factors beyond your control. So Tian doesn't necessarily mean heavily like a divine intervention, but Tian here more means like uncertainties or factors that's beyond your control. It could be societal, like people around you, how they are going to behave. That's beyond your control, right? So that's Tian. So uncertainty and out of your hand, kind of, everything else. So Ren is what you can do, and Tian is everything else, basically. And Ming, decree, I translate as decree. Actually, it can be translated as destiny or your track or the result, short term or long term. It could be like you try your best, but where you end up with is totally beyond your control. So what you can do at a time is to listen. Chinese use listen to what the all environmental message say. So it's like listen to the universe, to be in tune with what's beyond you. And listen also means kind of like obey, means accepting the result. Like you can make your best efforts, but what end up happening is totally beyond your scope. So you accept the result. That's the whole architecture of this phrase. And it's kind of a mirror image, right? This is what you can do, and this is what the best practice when Ren and Tian also forms this contrast of totally different, like within control and all the environmental factors, right? And shi means the efforts, the do part, things you can take your hands, you can be hands-on, right? The hands-on things you have a handle on. And Ming is more like abstract. Okay. Again, Jin comes from this after dinner dishwashing activity. The three-finger hand holding a brush on the dishware. That's about it. Ren looks like an English letter R. And Ren, we have a simple, more abstract form that looks like this, because humans in a language level, at least in Chinese, was defined as two-leg standing figure. And that's quite unusual, right? We're probably one of the few two-leg standing living animals. If we classify ourselves into bigger category of animals, and then two-leg standing animals probably is the differentiator between humans and animals. So that's two-leg standing. And then this R-looking thing is more elaborate way to have one side is straight, the other side is curved. It adds the complexity. Like you can view people as a linear curve, but this is not linear. Okay, there's at least a curve that's predictable. It kind of looks like this, right? But this is not totally more non-linear, so kind of track like this. So it adds the complexity to human itself. Instead of two standing legs just like that, symmetrical, it adds like two sides, almost like two facets of how human behave, the predictable part and non-predictable part. Okay, sure. Again, you can see this hand, three-finger hand. Well, it's more like this. Three-finger hand symbol, holding something, right? And this holding thing actually has this is the head and this is the headgear. So in ancient times, if you went to the, I shouldn't refer to the previous one, but headgear was used to be a big deal to signify the social status of somebody. Maybe still hold true in Western to a certain degree, but headgear, because it's very visible, right? It's on your eye level. What you put on and around your head are going to send a social message to the audience or whoever in the surroundings. So headgear here means ancient times the government officials, they have special headgears. distinguished by either color or styling. However, it's a signifier of them being in a government official. So, I mean, that means people who ever view them, see them, know their ranking and know how to approach them or behave appropriately in front of government officials. So this government official, and then this hand is holding. It doesn't mean like you're holding government official. Okay, that hand holding something eventually get abstracted, and that means these kind of abstracted means government official and this staff, vertical line here almost can be something like this, kind of a writing tool, even if there is no brush at the end to show it is a brush. But this comes with this government official. So official, and then holding this. This means you have the authority to do something. And this hand could be either writing something, because a lot of times government officials are in almost like a secretary role. They are the communicators. They don't make a decision. So they only follow whatever the top, means the emperor, giving the order to, right? So they are just taking out the orders and communicating to the mass. So this three hand, either by doing or writing, the spreading the word, because hey, before TV, radio, let alone social media time, like back then, the top leader of the country cannot talk to the people. There are distance, there are like even local accents, like it's just non-communicable. So all of these head-geared humans under the government or on the paycheck of payroll of government, their job is to either carry out the orders or spread the word. So this becomes do. It's a government do, basically. Okay, so human do, it's something humanly doable. It's literally having a hand on. So something, it's, even if it came from the government ordering, eventually this can extend into any efforts or anything, any goal, any mission you want to achieve. So this hands-on thing, that becomes our 是. Okay, 听. Okay, before I do this episode, I have no clue, or I never thought about the character of 听, because in simplified Chinese, it's made up of a mouth and an axe. I understand, okay, mouth related to speaking, and the axe means the sound making, the sound of an axe making. So basically, it's a sound, somebody speaking, and a sound. So that's the combination of listen. That's a little bit perplexing, because listening is an ear function. It's not a speaking function, right? It's a receiving end. So this listening made up of a mouth and the sound making, it's a little bit too indirect for me to understand, because it right, it needs to have an ear symbol. And it turned out when I do more research about this, this is a simplified Chinese. So in the 50s, a bunch of language scholars, they try to make the language more accessible to the more people, more population. So they come up with this. And then this was how I was taught and learned about this. Listen, I never questioned, I never think on the level of symbols made up of this word, right? So now the ancient word actually do have an ear symbol up there. And actually they also have this presence. 在 at the bottom means somebody. Here is a side view human figure, kind of looking like this, right? Kind of looking like this. So this is a human figure. And then this two horizontal line with one vertical line, and make sure you don't go through it, because then that's a different meaning. So this here, this vertical line stops right there. That means somebody is standing on top of the ground or soil. So this grounding or standing image over there it's a Chinese abstract way to say presence, like you are there, you know. So listen with presence, that means you really tune in. It's not a sound of the passing you as an environmental noise. It's like you're really present at the moment, and then you put your ear there, right? That make more sense. And then the right side came from the right side of 德 without the acting part. Okay, here we have number 10, simply a vertical line, horizontal line and a vertical line. That's our number 10. That came from the roping practice of a knot on the rope. That means number 10. 10, and then this is eyeball symbol. Kind of one of the renderings of eyeball. Eyeball could be looking like with two horizontal lines within a box. That's eyeball abstraction. But now it's a kind of a diagonal line within a box. That's also a way to say eyeball. So 10 pairs of eyes. We can either interpret it as 5 eyes because it's 10 eyes, or 10 pairs of eyes means 20 eyes, right? In any case, it means multiple people are seeing. And this symbol means ground level, means ground level happening. So the reality. So 10 pairs of eyes observing on the ground level, like look up and close how things actually are. And that means our truth. Truth is verifiable facts that multiple people, 10 pairs of eyes are looking, they see the same thing, and then they will agree this is the truth. That's kind of fact checker, right? Group fact checker in ancient times. And that's how Chinese define truth, is if it's a reality among 10 people, we all see the same thing. And then that's the fact. You don't need to argue about that. So that's the truth or fact. And then the bottom is the heart symbol. That comes kind of a chamber, input tube, output tube, and its own blood supply to the organ. 3 tubes coming out of this chamber. That's the Chinese heart. So true heart, this combination in Chinese, we used to have a acting, like a walking sign next to it. That means ethnic or moral. So basically following your true heart, or truth, or following the truth of the real world happening. That in Chinese, we use that symbol to define morality, your sense of doing the right thing because you're following the reality. Basically, you're not delusional. You are doing the right thing because you're following the truth. So that's the truth speaking, truthfully heart. I find it interesting to also now think about, in English we have wholeheartedly, right? Wholehearted means you fully devoted to something. You put your whole heart in it. There is no second thought or second guessing what you're doing here, right? That's wholehearted. In Chinese, we have true-hearted or truth-based or fact-based heart. So following the truth heart, that's our moral sense. That's our campus, like how you conduct yourself is following the truth. Okay, so now truthful seeking heart plus the ear and at the presence, like right now, that's the definition of listen in Chinese. When I saw that ancient character combination, I'm just like, wow, this is a powerful message from the language creators to tell the later generations what it means to listen, right? You definitely have your ear, that's the device to listen, but you need to put your heart in there, and you need to seeking the truth, like what's really happening, what's behind, or multiple people checking facts kind of truth. You really need to not just listen to the words, but to find out the true happening. And then you definitely need to have presence. All that message is compacted into that. And when it's simplified into contemporary, it doesn't make sense anymore. It lost all that nuances language creators like all that lessons or the essentials of what it means to listen in there. So, okay, I spent too much time on this, but I hope the whoever are watching this program kind of can share my passion, my inspired mood by this language. Just I should put this character somewhere, because I feel like this is something I'm not really like presence. That's difficult nowadays, right? Listen with your heart and to discover the real truth, and that's the highest moral. I mean, all that messages are too rich, and very relevant, and almost a healing message for today's world. Okay, let's listen. You know, in English, you just have listen, and you have to have somebody to explain to you, to define you, to remind you what it means to listen, right? Chinese, we have that visual right there. And generations of users of Chinese, at least when they become literate, right? They know, they get the message over there. Okay, heaven, simply human figure and a big spacer in between, or you can view it as arm. And this is the skyline. So that's the upper limit of your visually can see the world boundary for you, basically. So in this sense, I mean, here we use the kind of the sky because it's above you, but you can also view it as your visibly defined or known boundaries to you. So that means your environment, something beyond you, but it's as far as you can visibly see. So that's the limit, that's the condition or environment around you. And I think that symbol still, you know, even if I simplified it as a heaven, but that means the environment, the whole universe beyond you. Okay, Ming, we have this triangular saying, that means authority, and then we have a horizontal saying. I don't exactly know what that is, but this whole triangular and horizontal, they're supposed to kind of linked, kind of like that, to form kind of a triangle thing. But some to say this is just authority. I don't know what's the horizontal line there, but this triangle thing, I know it means the past, the present, the future. So this triangular symbol also used to mean the timing sense of where you are. And now this bottom kind of pointing down to now, this is the current. And we have the mouse symbol and we have a side view, kind of hunched back human figure. That means kind of obedience, like listening to whatever this mouse is speaking. So that, if we view this kind of a roof looking thing as authority, that means this person, this hunched over person is listening to the decree, to the orders from the authority, like what you need to do. And this eventually got abstracted because we all know that beyond the human societal authority, under this visibly, physically presence of you know, somebody who give orders or laws, law and order, authority figure, there is a bigger listening or mouse up there that is kind of like the truth or the heaven, like they are environmental, like everything packed in, not just societal level but natural as well, right? Or the mysterious, like the unknown, or the interaction of all the players on the ground. So you can never predict what's going to really happen in the future. So here the whole, I mean, this decree extended into something like a destiny, some script or some life's outcome that's beyond your control. So here, this is what you're daily doing, what you can put your hand on. And this is the heavenly order that you receive. The contrast here is you can only do your best. You can put your palm on here, but I'm using this to try to capture this 尽人事, right? This hands-on, this palm on this window, frosty window pane is what the best you can do. So that's your mark. That's what you can influence, only this much. The rest of it, the environmental factors, this heavenly, what's going to happen, like you have no choice but to listen. Listen, with the ear, with the presence, and with truth finding with your heart. That whole listening means in tune. You're really in tune with what's truthfully happening beyond your control. And that I just translate as acceptance. That's the best I can find if with just one word of what this whole message is about. It's like you can do the best you can, but then at the end of the day, you have to accept the result, because so much more, like beyond your palms area, are the 天命 part. You cannot control or influence that. All right, Cash into the currency of thinking about one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.